Hi, today's Saturday the 20th. I want to say some things about words that get thrown around all the time. Um, People remember when the Patriot Act came out. Uh, it stripped a lot of our rights, and it's really not patriotic. As a matter of fact, a lot of the stuff in that whole Patriot Act is really unconstitutional. But it seems like that doesn't seem to matter anymore, our Constitution. And even somebody asked something about our Constitution, Nancy Pelosi, and she just kind of laughed it off. Well, see, I've been a Democrat my whole life, and I'm not. I wouldn't vote for Nancy Pelosi now for nothing. The only person I thought was a really good Democrat was Dennis Kucinich, and I won't even vote for him now because um, when you try to force people to buy into health programs from a private companies, uh, that then that's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional to even buy it from the government, to be forced to buy it from the government. But they don't care. They just you know they'll just say, well, we amended the Constitution or whatever. Well, they should have amended it before they did all this stuff that they did. That's amended to say that you can torture people, amended to say that they have to be forced to. If you're going to go against the Constitution, you should have amendments like that. Uh, One thing that people don't know, a lot of people, is that the government already owns like 75% of Xerox. They have for like almost 30 years. What they do is they've always had like two sets of books, and one set has a comprehensive annual financial report, and every city, state, and government offices, they have these um, comprehensive annual financial reports. And so they buy these things and they say, well, this is for our pension funds. That's why we own part of Xerox. It's uh, for our federal pension funds and all this stuff. And that's the same thing with the cities. Well, they'll buy into the water department, things, utilities and stuff. And they'll say, well, that's for our city pension funds and what have you. The problem is that no matter how much they own, just like no matter how much the government owns, the bankers and own the rest. In a way, just like with your house, say you own 70% of your house, that's still not enough because if you don't own all your house, the banks can still take it away from you. So, and that's what they've been doing. They've been making money out of every single orifice they have. I mean, they're just they make money whether you win or lose. There was one guy that was talking about. I should know those people's names, but it's hard to remember them all. But anyway, how that some of the people won really big from these bailouts, but mostly it was going mostly to just Goldman Sachs and to the banks. Um, so it's like they've got a thing going between them, but it's not helping us. As a matter of fact, by them giving more to Goldman Sachs, that makes the price of oil go back up. And also because they put so much into the stock market, it's really a bad balance because they're the ones putting it in, they're the ones taking it out. It's like that is what a Ponzi scheme is all about. You got these really big investors, so the small investor gets hurt because they don't have that kind of money to be playing. It's like a poker game where you're going in there with $10 against people that have got $1,000. You're going to lose every time because you don't have that kind of money to be playing with those guys. And the one thing I was going to say, some other words that come out are like predatory lending. Now that puts the onus of the problem with the lending to make it sound like, well, it was, we shouldn't have lent these risky loans or whatever. But in a way, the predatory lending is fact that you have a house that's for um, where you end up having to pay like $400,000 for a house that's like 150,000 or 200,000. So you're paying another $200,000 for that house. That's to me, that's the right way to say predatory lending because they compound and they make you pay the interest before you pay anything else. So that's just another one of those words where things get turned around. They don't care how much the price of the house is really, as long as they get their interest first. I mean, how are they going to lose? And like I said, if you look anywhere, if you look at like right now, my girlfriend she bought the land that this house is on, but if she can't pay her mortgage off, she loses both the house and the land. So all the places you look around and you see land, everything is pretty much owned by the banks. Anyway, and then you have these Wall Street people, and like I said, the government the government had, and they probably still have about $70 trillion invested in the stock market, and that's why they think they have all this money to play with. They even have money like in companies like prescription drug companies. Pelosi's husband has got money in some thing, so it gets really that's where it gets really fascist too, because you have these government people and they got this money in the stock market, and so they think that they can just go and just spend this money however they want. Um, the stimulus money that was supposed to go to help people, they said what, like 100 billion has been spent or something like that, and they don't even tell you exactly where the money's been spent or whatever. But here, trillions of dollars have gone, tax dollars have gone into these banks and the stock market, and that's all the stuff that's going to hurt us worse. They're not really helping us; they're helping prop up the stock. A lot of it's government stock, government retirement stock, and stuff like that. And so it's all one big fascist circle jerk. And I bring up the Rothschilds whenever I can because they, a lot of people don't think that one group like the Rothschilds could be so influential, but they have central banks in almost every country. By central banks, I mean like the Federal Reserve. And there's other very wealthy people, but the Rothschilds are the ones that can really tie the whole thing all together. And you only hear about them at certain times, like whenever there's talk about New World Order and stuff, then the Rothschilds will come out. And when it comes to like global warming and stuff, because they want to get the taxes on that. They started out back in the 1700s and with the slave trade and drug trade, and they got involved in all these other countries. They've been in Russia and China. The Rothschilds are in Russia and China right now. They got thrown out of Russia, and right now they'd like to get the United States to go back to war with Russia. The Rothschilds are ruthless. They've always been slave traders. They look so, like Evelyn, or I call him Evelyn Rothschild. He looks so innocent, but they're ruthless. They've always been ruthless, and all their offspring are ruthless. And so when you look at even like Goldman Sachs or anything, think Rothschilds, because somewhere in that mix, the Rothschilds have a lot of lawyers in the stock market. Uh, so that's another reason why you hardly see anybody in the stock market go to jail, or the bankers go to jail, because they got their own lawyers right there. They'll just buy anybody off it, with their phony money. Um, there is something I want to say about money too, but I don't have time in this video. So I hope everybody just remembers all these words like Patriot Act and stuff, and predatory lending. They're just words that they just use.